good day to you, Redeemer family and friends far and wide. I'm Father Charleston, and I want to say a word more. This is our online version of Tell Me More, where the preacher can say a word more about the homily or some topic related to it from last Sunday. I encourage you to click below and you can see that homily. Where I focused on the Exodus chapter 12, from the book of Exodus chapter 12, which is the story of Passover. Now, before I say anything further in this very brief video, just before I clicked record for you, I noticed someone sent me a text and said, think happy thoughts today, Father, because today is National Positive Thinking Awareness Day. And I just want to say about that, that while I don't recommend dwelling on negative thoughts, I really don't think thinking all positive thoughts will all the time really do all that much for the soul. Because the problem is, when things are going really well, and I'm inclined to think positively, I'm inclined also to think a little too positively about myself. And that forces me into myself. It forces me into self-reliance. And actually, when I'm having a so-so day, or even a bad day, or when I'm truly weak, then I'm reminded of my complete dependence on God's actions for me. And that's really what's at the heart of the Passover. When God allows the blood of the lamb sprinkled around the doorpost to be a substitute, that's a key word in the church, a substitute for his judgment. But this idea of substitution is throughout the Bible, cover to cover. After the fall in the Genesis account, when Adam and Eve have been confronted and they feel naked all of a sudden, they feel that guilt and shame, it says there, God provided an animal covering. He provided a substitute, there's that word, a substitute for their shame and guilt. And we see God doing this beginning in the Genesis narrative. We see it happen with Abraham and Isaac, where as Abraham has the knife ready to go and plunge, he says, no, and he provides a lamb, as a substitute for Isaac. We see in the Passover, as I said, we see that the lamb's blood is a substitute for God's judgment. We see in Leviticus that God institutes the sacrificial system, where the blood is a substitute for sin. We see, most importantly, the Lamb of God himself, Jesus Christ, who was sacrificed for us, as St. Paul says so clearly. So, yeah, think good thoughts, think positive thoughts, think on the positive thoughts of what Jesus has done for you and done for me. Because that provides a deeper positivity than any sort of fleeting moment that I might have. And I find that that's most essential for my life, to give me any kind of lasting joy, to give me sort of any kind of lasting transformation. So think on, go back and read Exodus 12, have a look at the homily, and give thanks for the positive joy, the great news of not what you and I did for ourselves, but what God has done all along through salvation history by offering a substitute for my sin and my shame and my guilt. God bless you, and I will see you very, very soon.